to develop as far as getting married and raising a family?
You know, just developed. Um, I got married young, had a divorce, and
Hmm.
then I met my wife. Was my wife was at Center High School,
Okay.
and she was a girls' coach there, and so
Okay.
kind of that's how we met, and so we've been I think married 30 some years, and uh, have three kids together, and have a great life.
That sounds like it was a match made in heaven there with the two basketball coaches. You understand the frustrations and the joys and things like that. So tell me how things started to develop at Center High School when you first got there.
You know, Center was a very unique school. It's a very small school district in Kansas City. At When I arrived at Center, I believe we were probably 90% uh, Caucasian,
Hmm.
and by the time I left, we were probably 80 to 85% African American. So,
Wow.
saw a lot of diversity, and kind of saw the school change a little bit. And but it was a really good place, really good people, and had a lot of fun there.
When you are starting out as a high school, of course, you get thrown into the fire as an interim coach in college. You obviously are sort of thrown into the deep end. But how are you developing the philosophies that would carry you through your coaching career?
You know, I just really lucky that I had a lot of people around me to mentor me. Bud Lathrop, a legendary coach at Raytown South. I used to follow him around and work camps with him. I'd go to camps with Larry Hawley at William Jewell,
Hmm.
he meant a lot to me and helped me. So I would had a coach that coached up in Iowa that I met at a camp, and we kind of became friends for a long time. So I would go to clinics all the time. I was a Bobby Knight disciple, and I'd go to
Hmm.
Bloomington for every year for his clinics, and I learned a lot from what he did, and kind of things changed for me coaching when one year I couldn't make the clinic in Indiana, so me and a couple other coaches went to Kentucky, and Rick Pitino was the coach there, and
Right.
he was kind of famous for being able to press and do a lot of different stuff, and that kind of changed my perspective on things too, and I think it kind of helped me a lot.
Well, obviously you're learning from two of the best, but when you're around different coaches, and you mentioned the kind of transition you had at Center High School, and the demographics of the school population and such, and time passes on as well. You can do some things in coaching that you could do back in the day and you can't do now. And Bob Knight is one type of coach, and Rick Pitino, they're both
Yeah,
fiery
right.
coaches. How did you evolve? And you said you were suited to high school. Why do you think that was?
I just think I was more suited to kind of building kids and kind of just being around them during the day, and I love helping people, and so I got to do a lot at Center High School, making sure kids had rides, making sure they were you know had money for lunch, and kind of doing nice things for them, and helping them get better and get to school. And I got the joy of coaching is not winning the games. It's kind of seeing people develop and grow, and seeing them turn into good fathers, and raise their kids. And so I've just at the time, a lot of the kids probably would say they didn't like me at times, but it seems like after they get out of school for 4 or 5 years, they kind of come back to me and kind of understand what's going on, and really appreciate it.
Well, part of that process also is you did a lot of youth coaching and coaching in camps and things like that. And some of the players that would develop in your programs, you would have coached for a long, long time.
Yeah, I've had a really been really blessed with that, and I was kind of uh, coaching youth teams before anybody else. Now all the high school coaches uh, have youth teams and work on that, and when I went to Blue Valley Northwest, I was able to take a team, a group of kids in second and third grade, and they went all the way up with me through high school, and we went 94-6 in 4 years at Northwest. And one of them was my son, who was able to get a Division I scholarship, so that kind of made it really special. But I still coach teams on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sixth grade team that is a lot of fun working with them, and I kind of really enjoy just kind of helping the game of basketball and maybe teaching kids a little bit how to play the right way and not to let distractions get in their way.
Well, you were at center for 17 years. Just talk about the journey there and then the eventual decision to move somewhere else.
It was great. Very, we were, very competitive teams. I was kind of looking for just a little bit of a different change, and I lived right next to Blue Valley Northwest. My wife was at center, and then a few years before I left center, she became the head coach at Blue Valley North,
Mm-hmm.
and she's had a great career at North. And so we had an opportunity to be able to walk to work and live right across the street and be in the community. I jumped at it, so it was a great opportunity for me.
Well, obviously there was great success, but talk a little bit about your wife and sharing things and her successes, and that's a really cool story as well.
Yeah, my wife was played at Nebraska. She was her dad was a pro football player and pro football coach. And when I met her, they had a restaurant called Costello's Greenhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and but she went to Blue Valley North, and she really kind of had tons of success, and won I think 2 state championships the first 4 or 5 years, and had some really good players. And I kind of saw the different side of it from the center, and so that's kind of what appealed to me. This past season, the Blue Valley North girls won a state title, and she has 2 really good players that are juniors this year. So I think she's kind of excited to coach them this year.
Are your coaching philosophies similar or different?
I think they're similar in a standpoint that I think we both like defense a lot. We really, you can kind of see our teams play pretty hard. She's a lot better than me in areas with, her transition game is really good. She deals with parents and her players a lot different than I do, and it works for her. And I just got to make sure that it works for me. I'm probably a little tougher and a little bit more. I don't quite. I had when I had that team in second grade that went all the way up. Some of those kids' parents are really close to. When they got to high school, we didn't hang out anymore while the kids were playing for me, and now they're friends with me again. So that worked for me. My wife is friends with and really close with a lot of her parents the whole time.
Well, let's talk about all the success. You were hired at Blue Valley Northwest in 2002, and it's been really nothing but success there during your time there. And eventually we'll get to, obviously, your retirement and moving on to another challenge. But when 2002, you go there, how did you develop this juggernaut program into the force that it was?
I went there, and the team I took over won 4 games the year before. Mm-hmm. Had the exact same kids, and they were just really hard workers and really were ready for kind of a change and doing things different. And I really put those guys through a lot. The other thing that was really kind of cool for me was my assistant coach was a guy named Rex Walters.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player at KU.
Yep.
He had just got done playing professionally and wanted to get into coaching. And so I somehow was able to get with him. Rex is now the assistant coach of the Charlotte Bobcats, and has been a head college coach and a lot. But anyway, we had a great, just a great time together, and he was able to. We were both pretty fiery people, and these kids really kind of. We got a little different style. Kind of, I think when I started there, Johnson County was not known to score a lot of points. We were able to really press and run and do some things that maybe were a little different. And that first year, we were able to make it to the state tournament. The second year, we got third, and then it kind of just started rolling after that. So, just but those first 2 years at Northwest were really good years, and really had some great kids.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing, back for another beautiful springtime in Kansas City. We are proud to announce our renewed partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. Starting in 2024, a portion of every job sold will be donated to a cause close to my heart. I was a big, and I encourage you to volunteer. And if you hire us for service on your residential or commercial roof, you'll know that a portion of the profits will go to a great cause. So call us at 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
We're here at the 23rd Street Brewery with Matt Llewellyn. And Matt, basketball's over, football's still a few months away, but there's always fun to be had at the 23rd Street Brewery.
Absolutely. We've always got something going on here. The games are always going on. It's a great place to come enjoy everything out on the patio. Beautiful scenery out there. Great beer. I've got a great brewer, great food. It's always fun here at the brewery.
And the atmosphere is great and friendly and warm, too.
We always want to make sure you're a lot happier when you leave than you were when you came in.
Always fun here at the 23rd Street Brewery at 23rd and Castle. Make sure to come by when you're in Lawrence.
If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business on Kansas City's #1 rated podcast, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to working with you.
Our guest is Ed Fritz, Kansas High School Association Hall of Famer, inducted this year, or will be inducted this year in the 2023 class, and winner of over 600 games, and now obviously the coach at North Kansas City as well. So you basically became the team to beat. You ended up in 8 title games. You won 5 of them, and that's kind of a lot of pressure to keep a standard that high, isn't it?
It is. It is. It was. You know, the thing that just so lucky was the kids kind of set the tone, and so the upperclassmen would kind of get an underclassman, a freshman or a sophomore that had a lot of potential and kind of took them on their wing. Great thing about Northwest is I was able to, you know, those guys needed it in the gym. I would open it up for them. A lot of kids got extra work, and so it just kind of got to where, you know, you didn't want to be the team or the, you know, player that let anybody down. So that really worked. And you know, then I got with you know, the team that I kind of brought up from 2nd and 3rd grade, and those guys were just amazing. We went to 4 straight state title games, only won 2, but Perry Ellis had a lot to do with us not wanting the other 2. We were close. And then, you know, all 5 kids were able to get college scholarships, starting 5. And then the kind of had 2 kids that really kind of took Loyola from nowhere,
right,
and took them to the Final Four. And that was kind of a really cool experience. I went to all the games, and I remember when they beat K-State, Ben Richardson had 23 points, and Clayton Custer was just a phenomenal player. And those guys after the game, you know, came up to me, and I ended up coming home, and I had like maybe 150 followers on Twitter, and all of a sudden I got 1,000. So because the cameras followed those guys after Clayton hitting a